Hi lovelies, welcome to my life and tarot, and let us go into the pips. As I thought, this is after all a pips learning experience, so I am not starting with major arcana. We can do that later, but let's just jump right into the pips, and the first card is Ace or 1. So how I read the pips, and I have all my pip decks in front of me, all the aces. I will show different things and will tell throughout the history what's changed, etc. But disclaimer, I am explaining this through my own point of view and how I read the pip cards and how I see them. This is not universal truth. This is just my version of truth, so to speak. So the ace, the number 1, I use numerology, also a little bit the knowledge of and about history, and something also added from the elements and the playing cards. So my meaning ball of usage is a mishmash of something and everything. So let's start with the pips. I am going to do the playing cards meanwhile, and then again the tarot decks. I'm trying to do them side by side in a row, something as I feel inspired. But let's just stop the whole blabbering thing, and first of all, the major approach to the pips for me is through numerology, and then next important thing is the elements, and third is the history or the meanings of those items and things in history where the tarot decks and the pip decks were created, and what did they mean then versus now, everything. So let's just start. First of all, I'm starting with the oldest deck I have, which is known to be one of the oldest surviving tarot decks, and this is the Visconti Madron, Visconti Sforza, Pierpont Morgan is this called, from 1400s. This deck emerged many centuries later, and it was in a use of nobilities. Therefore, many of the following decks or the creators had no idea of the existence or how this deck looks. So this is like more the art or fancy piece of art for the people who ordered this deck from the artist. So this is actually not the tarot deck we know today per se, but still many of the interesting things majorly in the major arcana, but also we can see a lot on the pips the aces mostly and the court cards. But I will still show this. So this is the Ace of Swords. We are starting with swords because this is my order of things. I know that usually pip decks, old pip decks were ordered starting with, if we leave out Major Arcana, starting with the King of Coins, and always the kings were first, and the order was like King, the court cards, starting with King and then Ace and so on. Because the Triumphi was a sort of parade where the most important personas and their people were always parading through the town first, and then a status, lower status followed, and until the most lowest. So this was a triumphi from the ancient Roman times, and it was derived and used in Middle Ages a lot. The fools and the entertainers were always the last ones to come through, and the slaves were the most last ones, or if they even like included them into the triumphi or the parade. So this interesting thing that correlates how the old tarot decks were put in order and why. But my order is starting with the ace and to the king, and also I'm starting with the swords because for this I use the elements, air as being the highest, then the fire, which is in between and created by air plus earth, and then the water, which is ground level, and the earth, that is the most lowest, like the below. So I am using the as above, starting with swords, and so below, finishing with coins. This is why I'm showing them in that order. So swords, I'm still speaking. I'm trying to do this quickly. Bear with me. If you have decks, prepare your decks. Pick out the swords. I will talk about numerology a little bit, but pick out the aces and look at your aces meanwhile and start creating your own understanding of this. Maybe you can use my discoveries or meanings, maybe not, but search for your aces. And I am now wanting to read this. This is a quote I wrote down a long time ago from I'm sorry, I can't remember from where, but this is not my idea or my creation of any sort. So I'm quoting someone, but I can't say who. This is what I have saved. So each of the numbers 1 through 9 has a unique personality, a limited range of qualities and traits. To get a good understanding of how numbers affect us and come across to us, it helps to get to know each single digit number as if it is a person. carrying its own personality, strengths and weaknesses. So interesting approach to the numbers. They have personality. And let's just, this was the quote. I'm now putting you back so I can see myself again. So, ace, the oldest deck, swords point downwards. Next deck I have, what was like created, is the, I don't have anything from in between. This is a Marseille style deck. Sword is pointing upwards, coming out of the cloud, and the crown, everything is here, totally different from this. Then next is the tarot of the Lombardy, again different. And then the neoclassical. No, this was neoclassical. I am totally messing this up. I wasn't that prepared. I thought I would just wing it. So this one is the, I can't remember, but it's called ancient Italian tarot is the name of this one if you want to get it. And this is the tarot of the Giovanni Vacetta. Again, the sword is downwards in old Italian style decks and upwards on more Marseille style decks. So what can we say about swords? First, swords for me is not only air, but also everything that you can't touch, like within you or outwards. So air is invisible, yet you need it. So are the thoughts, our words. We can hear them, but we use air to say them. So in pip decks, the swords are for me everything that is thoughts, ideas, words related. So in the old times, the swords were the attribute of nobility. Poor people didn't have any swords. Sword was sometimes used not only as a weapon, but sword was, they made really beautiful swords and they were presented beautifully, and there were like important day swords and then the usual training swords and every sort of things. These things were available only for the higher ranked people in the medieval times. So then the swords meant also courage, the ability to overpower or be in a higher place regarding to others. I'm really having a hard time with my English, and I really can't write everything down and read from there because that is going to be even a bigger mess. So people that could look down to other people and like maybe pride, and when you keep your nose too up in the air, something like that. So being a little bit cocky and showing off. This is what I also keep in mind when I use swords in pip readings. So, number 1. What is number 1? Let's start with the numerology. If you remember, the spades in playing cards was not a negative suit, and for me the sword suit is not, even in Rider White, it's not as negative as many translate them. I can see the different things in Rider White because of what I have learned before, and I'm just making this weave of new knowledge, and although Rider White and pips are different to me, but some things still apply there as well. But let's not talk about the Rider White. So the Ace of Spades was prosperity and secure future, feeling secure about future, the success and everything. So keeping that in mind, and also now the numerology, number 1 being the God, the let there be light moment. But as I think of every human as God, we create our world. So people and moments and words and ideas that create the light, the new start, the everything that will follow. I'm just showing something so you don't have to look at me all the time. So, and my windmill hands, of course. So this is the start, the let there be light, and when the darkness became light, then the soul can follow the light to reach the next level, the enlightenment and everything. Let's forget about the Bible per se, because Bible is just rewritten, historical, pagan, everything, because they couldn't just force the almighty belief system onto the people without using their own belief systems that already existed. So the let there be light has been used in many cultures, not in worded like this, but still the spark, the start, everything starts with a seed, and this is number 1 for you. Seed also doesn't appear from just nowhere, you know, something has to be putting it there. Someone or something has to create the opportunity for the seed. So we are the God who create those opportunities. So Ace of Swords is the seed of enlightenment, of words the way of speaking, the way of thinking, new way, and everything that here you can see this card beautifully shows this, because the winner's wrath with oak leaves or oak wrath is given to the old times, to the good orators or debate. The smart people got the award of oak leaves. This was not given to fighters only, but also smart people who created new information, who, this is, I'm talking about the ancient Roman times. Later on it was like all forgotten, and then the Dark Ages came, but when the Renaissance blossomed, all those old things were brought back and used a lot in art and in symbology. Was that the right word? So, not only being brave, but being brave to speak out the truth. So I'm just speaking about swords in general also. So I hope you can piece this together. So number 1 is 0 that has been, what is this word in English? 0 that came to be or came to life. So number 1 is me, the unity of me, the God in me, and every ace is talking about this. This is the base of a start, or a reason of the start, and the creative idea for the getting things going. So let's have a look at the swords. Like I said, the sword is in the thing, I can't not say what it is, but this shows it's not for fighting or harming anyone. The sword is celebrated, so the idea is celebrated. In this one, it's also not drawn out, so to speak, but is hanging with the I don't know how this combination is called, but this was the way the nobility in the important events used the sword. It was somehow hanging with this type of harness thing on their sides, parades, or is it maybe? So this one is also more Marseille, with a crown showing the head, where the ideas come from, the head, where is the feeling of being over others in our head. So we have ourselves crowned ourselves to take this chance, to begin this journey, to start speaking, to start thinking, to start creating everything. So this is the Let me see if I have again another way to show it with a crown. Here you can see up in the tower with a flag. What's the most important place in a city, capital city, let's say, is one tower, usually the highest place or something, where the national flag is um, located. At least this is the way that it is used in my country and many of the European countries, the old way to celebrate the nationality. In old times they had those little town countries, so to speak, when every town and little bit of county was like separate from the other and they tried to overcome each other. So reaching the top of this again, feeling more over others, etc. So when this comes up in a reading, I'm trying to show what else I have here. Pagan otherworlds, very here already the cloud thing has added. This here is not a cloud, this is like the spark, the beginning, the, let's say, the idea from up there, something that is given to you, it is handed to you. This is something that you just figured out. Where did you get from? Up there. Is this your internal knowledge? Whatever, you were given the opportunity to start something. So the swords are starting to speak, to think, to create, to thrive, to get higher. So all the rambles. Now let's take it more quickly because I don't anymore have to add anything about the numerology. It's already laid out there. The wands. Taking out all the wands. Let's start with the Visconti wands. Wands at these times were polo sticks that were used in the Mamluk cards. These are not exactly polo sticks anymore, and the way the cards suits came into Europe were polo sticks, and now then they were called batons and spades, not spades, the batons, wands, the sticks, I don't know, or wands as in power, the power, I'm just losing the words. I wish I could just do it with fancy words and smoothly, but I can do it only in my language. So two-sided in the first deck, others were usual tree trunks or tree branches in Italy. Then in here you can see the interesting use of the batons. I am going in there, different ways to show, but many of the old decks show it as a tree branch that you can hit someone. Clubs, I think it was the name of the game. So, wands or batons. Here they are fancy, but let's not forget this was the special art deck that may or may not have been used for reading per se, but the later decks most certainly were already used for divination, because divination as such goes back to I don't know what age, where people used the pieces of bone, pieces of wood, rocks, whatever's things. Now when the paper cards appeared, of course they were used pretty soon after appearing as the divination tool also, because we people are really curious and about unknown, and have been searching the ways to look into or to know the future or what's coming up. So I'm pretty sure the divination with cards was pretty early thing, as soon as they were more approachable for the masses. So wands for me are the action, the infinite flow of doing things, creative power, and when the idea from the swords that came from the air is now giving the power to the fire, so it can burn. You know, they are all like connected, and wands are the way of active life, the creative people, also the ones who can't just sit down and maybe be lazy. The wands are not the suit of lazy people. This is people that are active actions, active thoughts that at least are meant to be create actual results, not only talk, but this is now putting the ideas in real material world and creating something. So again, many decks show the hand, which tells us that also you have given the opportunity to do this, to go for it, for things to be born through you. And if we watch the wands, usually there are leaves in it. Although the wands are like cut off from the tree, the leaves are still sprouting. Not on the Marseille deck, but many of the Marseille style decks show the leaves on it. Not all, but still, which speaks then when there are like this is tree, this is the growth, the spring, the everything coming to life, and not the spring in the season way, but the spring, you know, that thing that had been compressed for a while and now has the opportunity to jump open and go for things. And stamina, because if the tree branch is cut off, it still has as much power in it to keep feeding those little leaves so they don't wither. And this shows the inner power of the wands suit, as the aces define the whole suit. Now let me show you a few different ones. So you can see how they are depicted with power, with ribbons, with, again, different ways. I'm not sure where are my, but still you can see the growth, the possibility of growth of a person in the suit of wands and in aces. As I said, the aces are that, I can't even remember, that define the whole suit. And this is interesting depiction. Again, you can see this guy has been busy. There are 3 pregnant women there, and the guy is probably responsible for it. So the seed has been sown, so to speak, and now the responsibility, the actual child will be born, and you will instantly get a material thing, so to speak, which you have to take care of, and it will probably change your life. And so are the wands. Ace of Wands appears, then this means something is going to change in your life. The way you are going to do things will be changing a lot, and if you do it right way without burning yourself out, then you will be getting into really interesting places. Many are taking Ace of Wands as the phallic symbol, and it might mean pregnancy. I haven't had any experiences with me that when the Ace of Wands has shown the pregnancy. Usually there are many other cards that show that. But yeah, and this, how would you read this in the light of everything else? This looks like the King's Entertainer, the Fool hidden in the wands, yet there's a crown. So you have to be, even if you are more like king-like, or the have a higher position, or maybe you think you are very adult-like, this suit reminds you also that we all have this spark in us, and even the old bear can dance, so to speak, and we are the God who can start changing things, including ourselves, the ways we, how we act, how we think, everything. So, and if you remember the crosses, I can't just remember the English name for the playing cards, the, well, the crosses. Uh, the Ace of Crosses was also positive card, as in good news, opportunities, and important and long-lasting success. I'm showing you some of the other cards since I have already taken those out to show you. This is interestingly shown. The droplets are coming into this, like from up there, so the water for the plant to grow leaves is coming from up there again, and the pinky thing is funny in this one, so shows the little bit fancy thinking of things. So next, I just hope you can get something out of it. I really am a little bit sad that I can't. I'm taking out my Aces of Cups meanwhile, and I'm sad that my English is not that good and I have to search for the words, and my thought is already running 10 steps before my speech is reaching it, and this is maybe a little bit hard for me to get everything through to you. That's why it takes so long for me, but I hope you can get something out of it. Now, Ace of Waters, Ace of Cups, or Chalices, or however they were called. So, in this deck, this is a fountain that was in the Visconti Sforza, or the Sforza castle in Milan, the main courtyard fountain, exact one that was their pride at that time. So cups are water, of course, and what flows like water? Our feelings, our emotions. What makes us cry? Water is our emotions and feelings and everything that we live through. We create our reality through how we depict them through our emotions. If we take things too emotionally, we are living the high tides all the time and there's no peace. But when you can put the emotional side to the side, that it's not taking over, you can feel everything, but it's without the screen of whatever the emotional reacting can be holding you from. So you can feel the purest feeling without being emotional. That's the water for me, and that's the cups. Everything that is making us laugh, cry, love, mourn, and the way we feel. So the Ace of Cups, as it was the main pride in this home, it also shows the home. You can see a lot of the older cups have all the towers. This is the city towers, and inside these are houses. This is home. This is hometown. For the nobility, their castle, their home was the most important thing, and so this represented at all times the secure feeling of being home, and our emotions inside us have to feel at home. So if you remember the playing cards, the Ace of Hearts also meant the home of the querent, including other things, but that were the love, spark, new love, and happy family life and everything. So it can also mean home. Here are flowers. Where do you keep vases? We bring the flowers home. Someone gifts us flowers. This is, and where do we put them? We don't just leave them anywhere. We bring them home. So let me show you. The vessel that we are is our home. So the Ace of Cups is not only, you can see home here, the family, the home, the security of home, which is important to everyone. We have to have home in outside world, but also inside. So here it shows the girl doing something in the garden. There's water. So Ace of Cups is then not only the start of new emotion, the creation of new emotion, but reminding us to find the home within and cherishing the home outside we have, and also a possibility of starting the journey towards getting the inner peace and getting home. So we feel emotionally most secure in a place that we call home. Even the people who have horrible like home life, they still want to go home, because this is the way we call the place we go and want to go back to. And if you think of it upside down, we are homeless. Our home is running empty. Something runs out of our home. You know, we are drained, we are numb, everything. So it can be both ways. But not only outside home, but the inside home. The serenity of feeling home within and working as our home in a physical plane needs to be mending and little picture here and new carpet and everything. You want to be in a beautiful, safe and comfortable to you environment, but you have to create this inside as well, not only outside. The outside is not helping if you are not working on the inside. So the Ace of, I am just speaking, Ace of Cups is home, the me, myself, my own feeling of home, the new way of feeling home, the working on thyself, the working on your home, your family, your love life begins now. The spark of start has been given, and this card calls us to notice and take action on this area. So this, and the last one, yay, we are already, the coins, the coins, the coins, the coins. The coins are in this deck a shield, a coat of arms, so to speak. This is not a money in this one, this is coat of arms. What does coat of arms mean? What did it mean back then? It meant security. It meant roots, having the ancestors, the inherited material power, the things that you have been accomplishing, the things that you have been given opportunity to accomplish. So the coins, the earth sign, the rock, the thing that we are standing on, the physical plane. Without it, we can exist, but it is not maybe so comfortable. We always want more. We don't appreciate little things anymore, and that's not even Ace of Coins right now, but this is whole another story. Coins. Later on, the actual coin was added to show the money, although the ace, as I said, ace sets the path to the whole suit. All the other cards in this deck are actual coins. So the money follows the security. This card sets the tone of the. Always look at your, whichever deck you have. What does your ace say? And think upon the other pips, the smaller ones, through the point of view of the ace you have. Aces are different in different decks. Look at your ace and what does your ace tell you? these are the main things that apply to all of the others as well. Then add numerology or basic, I don't know, information you get from the images, from what you have created yourself. Whatever works with pips. This is a open source, so to speak. So the coins is the secure, finally secure place, and ace is showing the start of something that will make you feel secure, will make you have this security, always in a material plane, but somewhat also in physical, your own self plane, the God that you are. You have to be grounded, earthed, so to speak. So sometimes Ace of Coins is just telling you to ground yourself, to go touch the trees or rocks, go outside, do something. It is time for you to take your powers up, because things are coming your way that will change a lot, which is interesting with the historical decks and all the pips. The coins are not offered you on the from the hand, where swords and, sorry for the glare, swords and wands are offered you from, so ideas and possibilities for actions, but these two are not going to be offered you. You have to create them yourself. This is within you. You are the god of your own material plane and your inner, your emotional plane. I did probably show them wrong, but material plane is yours to create, and your inner self is yours to create. These are the things that are not offered you from up there or out there, whatever you are calling the thing, the universal knowledge base and everything. So in the decks where there are no hands, you don't read it like that, you don't use that, you are not offered this or that, because this is the different case. So look at the details. Are you given something? Are you given the opportunity, or you have to do it yourself? When it's plain, you can read it like that also, but you can read it as the number one, the spark of start of the suit, meaning start of the idea, or the getting your ideas out there, getting your words out there, presenting yourself. How are you showing yourself? So the wands, getting the inner juices and things that you have inside you, the creative power flowing and creating the new leaves, even if you feel you have no roots to pull from. But if you think at the whatever branch, it was once a part of tree, there were roots, all the information, all the nutrients were gained and are in here. So the time of learning is over, and this is time for action, time for getting things from outer sources is over, and the wand is now unattached, flying, and needs to create its own roots or whatever is needed to be done. The cups, like I said, the home, the feeling of home, not only outside but inside too, the inner balance. Many of the cups have lid on. Do you keep your lid on? Can you keep your lid on your emotions, or you are just like exploding jar of emotions that is not? This is like, is it sour in here, inside here, or is it perfect aged wine with everything that a good wine has? When there is no lid on the, this is fruits, so enjoying and starting to create the fruits of your own self. This is the growing out of your heart, your inner world. And if you're sour inside, you can't grow anything. You just, others don't see you as a person or secure, beautiful home. You need to be a person that can make others feel like home when you aren't at home, when they aren't at home. So be the person who you would love, you would enjoy, and don't hide behind, I was born like that. No. You are the only one who can change things, and you are the only one who have to change things within you and with you, because nobody else will do it for you. Nobody else is to blame for your not going to do it. And if you are hitting the rocky road because of you didn't want to change, because we have to change, we have to learn, we have to evolve. And yeah, I'm not talking about aces. And last one, the coins, or the shield, the coat of arms, whatever you are shown, you go from there. Is it the start of something material? Is it you will be getting some money also? But it means basically the security and the start of you, or possibility for you to start the path on gaining that security. The security is not applied instantly in your life. It is something you have to create. This is your opportunity. When this card arrives, this shows that opportunity knocks. Go for it, grab it. Sometimes it needs to be risked a little bit, but this card shows it beautifully. Rabbits multiply really fast, so this is your opportunity to get your assets multiplying really fast. What other cards are around it will show how to do it, where to look at, or if you need to pull another card, everything, then do it, because Ace of Coins appearing means that you are now presented a window of opportunity when you can go for something which will end up for you to feel more secure, have more material security in your life, and everything that is concerning these things. So I hope I talked about everything and I showed everything. Next we will talk about number 2, and yeah, I release myself into this style of teaching, so to speak. I am not doing it in here like this, but in a video form I can't figure out how else to do it. I would have loved to only show you the cards, not my face, because my face is not even important in learning pips, but my lighting is so bad that cards are not showing well, and yeah, I can do it this way better. So you are stuck with my face until the Into the Pips is over. So yeah, this was it. Like I said, I will be uploading twice a week, twice a week. So it might be playing cards also, and let's just slow paced do it and get your own decks out. Next time it will be number 2, and yeah, this is my way of seeing pips, of reading pips, and I have crossed over a lot of it on the Rider White as well. So I have this other vision of decks, suits in general. So it doesn't have to be, like I said, disclaimer, this doesn't have to be your way. Create your own way. As you can see, mine is created out of my experience, out of my knowledge, out of my whatever have I gathered throughout my life and my experiences in life with working on myself and helping other people. And this is also all applied in tarot. So I am like the Ace of Wands, whose roots are not there anymore because all the knowledge is already taken. Now I am taken apart from the large tree and trying to gather the knowledge, the juices of the knowledge, to create new leaves and new me out of this new tree, out of myself, eventually probably having roots again, and the circle begins. Last thing, tens are the ultimate end game for the aces or the whole suit. So they are really closely number 1 is number 10 is also numerologically number 1. So the circle. And homework, look at your aces And I think I took out some of my tens. Where did I am so. Oh, okay. Let's take out tens and aces and compare them. What do you see? What is the start? This is the start. What is the start and what is the end? Here you can see already the home, the perfect home, secure between the walls. Everything is here, flourishing, beautiful. Flag is flying. So the completeness of home is represented on the 10. Look at what your tens are showing. This is half pip. I don't have. I should have, but I don't. So take out pips, ace, and look at the 10. What do you see? How do you see that the 1 has been completed in 10? And 10 is turning again into 1 and gives the new start on the next level, but new start anyway. 1 episode is completed. Look at the end of the episode. Look at the 10 compared to 1. Make some notes. Try to see how the coins are positioned. Are there any patterns between them? What you can, if you would draw a lines between the elements, what would you be ending up with? Create your own end game for the suits, now knowing about the aces. And if you are not using my system, whatever, use your own system. This is not important what you use. Define the ace and define the 10, and in between is then an easy flow. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. You can't see how long I did it. So this is it. See you next time with the number 2s, and have a beautiful pip journey. Bye.